Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is the Gamers Social Club vidcast. I am your host, Nathan, aka One Hot Dragon, and I am joined by, wait for it, oh crikey, he's about to drop the F-bomb. It's Fraser.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Then I'm also joined by, shit, oh no, it's Addy, aka Adam.
Hello.
And this is the Gamer Social Club. This is a place where friends get together with new friends to discuss their passions in gaming, all while discussing everything around the gaming news and latest releases. And in today's case, it's going to be all the showcases. We are a new YouTube and podcast, so please give us your feedback and rate us. Help us grow, and let us know what you would like to be seeing come out of all of our future vidcasts and stuff and whatnot. So today we're going to be going over Summer Games Fest. I got the Gamers Social Club website, the only place where you should be getting your gaming news. Addy over here was killing it last weekend with all the different news articles. I mean, let's just take a quick little glimpse here at. There's the one that I did out of, let's see, we got Summer Games Fest. How many did you cover, Addy?
8.
8?
8, yeah. I feel like a bit like Thanos before Infinity War, because there's 2 I haven't done, and there's 3 I haven't done. There's the one that you did, and then there's 2 that we haven't done.
Oh,
I feel like,
gosh.
do I just complete the gauntlet? I just need to fill
I
the
need
last
to do
one. I feel a bit uneasy that I haven't finished them, to be honest.
So Addy, before we get started, how have you been, man? What have you been up to?
Oh, well, busy. I mean, I try and game where I can, but I've been very busy because I do a lot of musical theatre in the real world.
Really?
So I've been a lot of amateur performances in the area where I live, and had quite a few shows on, so there's lots of rehearsals. So whenever I make reference to that on the Discord, that's what I'm doing. So
Okay.
I get less time to game at the moment because I'm like strutting my stuff on stage, as it were.
That's awesome. What play have you been doing recently?
We're doing a show it's a musical called A Slice of Saturday Night, and it's set in the 60s in like a London bar, a club, and it's about all these 17 and 18-year-olds going out drinking for the first time, trying to find love, get lucky, that sort of stuff. And it's a comedy, and I'm playing Eric Rubberlegs Devine, who's a Cockney owner of the club. And he's a bit rough around the edges, but he's got a heart of gold, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna look after you, yeah, you know what I mean. And
very cool.
It's just good laughs, singing. It's kind of got like the 50s rock and roll like influences in the songs. It's like there's a song that I do that's like, goodness gracious, great balls of fire, but it's not. It's just slightly tweaked, so they can get away with it license-wise, I think. So yeah, it's good fun. Fun. I really enjoy it.
That's awesome.
I'm not singing, just to put it out there. I'm not doing any singing right now. I don't take requests.
Are you wanting to?
No, God, no.
Now, how do you find the time for all of it between? What do you do for work?
Well, I work for the NHS in the UK. It's the National Health Service. So
okay.
I work in what's called patient engagement. So if there was changes to a service that we were doing in the system, we'd go out and work with the people who might be affected by the change to make sure they're having a say on how we run services. So it's kind of like a community manager in the gaming sphere. So they work with the community and chat with like what's important to you and what do you need from what we're doing. And like, people say, oh, this is rubbish or this needs to change or whatever else. Then we go back and take that to the decision makers and say, that's not working. Can we sort that out? And we do what we can within the sphere of budgets and reality and that sort of, if everyone said we want a jacuzzi in every patient bathroom, we go, probably can't do that. But
Yeah.
at least we listen to it, but we can't necessarily do that. Yeah.
We can put some wash towels in
It's a
there.
nice idea, but you know.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, that's very cool, man. What a cool job.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It never gets boring for sure.
Oh
And
my
you get
gosh,
to
I
meet
can
loads
imagine.
of people and loads of different like what people are up to and stuff. It's great.
Yeah, that's what I love about what I do is just meeting all the weird and wonderful people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, to answer your question, time is lots of late nights, lots of coffee in the mornings, that sort of stuff.
On average,
Getting
how
through it.
many ounces of coffee do you think you roughly drink per day?
Well, I don't know about ounces, but I have at least maybe 5 or 6 cups.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Like
yeah.
probably
That's
yeah.
way more than I have.
That surprises me. How many would you say
Yeah.
you're drinking, Fraser?
Oh, dude, I've cut way back, way back. I'll have a couple, maybe 2 in the morning. If we're doing a quality check, we'll do you know when you do wine tasting where you sip it and then
Yeah.
you spit it out. We do that twice a week. So that could be kind of anything from like 15 to 20.
Okay.
Even though you're spitting it, you still absorb some, and for the rest of the day, you kind of just feel a little bit spacey, a little bit weird. Try and have as many bananas and orange juice as you can. It just
I wonder if Lady
Yeah.
V does the same thing at the pub.
Yeah, I reckon she does. Yeah. Oh no, we got to do another tasting.
Oh, what a shame that'd be. Yeah. Well, let me just try the Jaeger this time. Let me just.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
I like the idea of a sommelier for coffee and stuff. Just
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what you do. You just got to make sure you don't drink from the wrong cup. That's the
yeah. No. Oh god. Well, a backwash just in one cup.
I'd say I'm up there with Adam because I'm out here like I start my day off. My coffee machine goes by ounces, so I like start my day off with like a 16-ounce cup. Then I'll take a 24-ounce canister with me to work, and then I'll probably end my day with another cup of coffee, just because like maybe like a 12-ounce cup at the end of the day because I'm crazy and us ADHD people can like down a can of Monster and go straight to bed. So. Yeah.
Are we talking filter coffee or espresso?
Filter. Like
Yeah.
I got
Cool.
not paid advertising here, but I got the DeLonghi True Brew. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That thing's amazing.
Yeah, I just got one of those Nespresso pod ones, and it's like it's just you go back to instant, and it's just like it's a bit wet and drink thin, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got all the gizmos and gadgets, and I just still drink Nespresso as well, or like the pods.
Yeah,
like the company that I work for do pods, so we just like I can't be bothered dealing with coffee on the weekends. Like I do it all week. The last thing I want to do is dial in my grinder so I can have an espresso on Saturday. I'll just
that's a great phrase. Dial in my grinder.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I like the idea it's a guy and you have to give him a ring and he comes in and like get cracking with the grinding.
Come on, you got this.
Oh, it's 4 in the morning, man. Come on.
Oh man. That's awesome. Yeah, I hate it when me and my wife, we used to have this cleaning business, and you know, there's always that assumption that, oh, you're cleaners, so your house must be spotless. No, it's not. We don't feel like cleaning when we get home. Our house is the worst house you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Okay. Fraser, how are you doing, man? What have you been up to?
Man.
You were telling us a little bit about a fire.
Yeah, we just had a little fire at work, so I've just been doing paperwork, just filling out incident reports. It wasn't a big one, like it was very easily contained, but it's all the stuff that happens afterwards that's super annoying.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, like the thing is, like, no matter what happens in my job, the coffee never stops. You have to just keep going. So weeks can be super easy, or they can not be.
Man.
So, yeah, we just got a fantastic team of guys and girls that I work with that just kind of head down and just do it. We put the tunes on and just get it done. All of a sudden, the day's over and it's time to go home.
Okay.
So,
It
yeah.
sounds like you guys run a fairly big operation.
Yeah, we get about between 5 and 6 ton out the door a week. So
Really?
and that's just for the state that I'm in. We've got state bits and bobs all over the world. So yeah, just fun, mate. Just coffee, 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 coffee.
That's
That's all I
awesome.
do. Coffee and games.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about the same, except I just don't do coffee for an income. I wish I was. Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I'm gonna go ahead and apologize to our viewers and listeners ahead of time. I had a miscommunication with my wife, and I am currently kind of halfway watching the kids. I've got two kids just causing havoc on my apartment right now, and I'm just kind of like looking over my shoulders, and I'm sure you guys can hear them screaming in the background. They're pretty good kids, so they shouldn't get into too much trouble while we're podcasting. But if you hear some crazy background noise, that's what that is. But today,
That's fine, man.
I want.
Totally fine.
Well, before we get going, how are you doing? Apart from the unintentional
Yeah.
mental babysitting, how are we?
Um, I am doing good. I am getting over a sickness because I was sick the whole weekend during all of this stuff, and like
Convenient.
yeah, seriously, super freaking convenient. And like, I was trying my hardest to like, kind of like try to tackle some of the website stuff during all this. And like, I was just like, I did that whole wholesome direct thing. And oh my gosh, dude, that one was a headache. It's like, you did freaking what, 7? I did 1. And I'm like, oh, there's like 76 games. And in the press kit, there's like, individual files for each game with images in each one of those, and you got to go in, you got to extract like the header image, and then you got to download it, then you got to upload it to the website, then you got to place it, and like, whew, that took me most of my weekend. But I've actually not really been up to much except for the website stuff, working when I'm not working on website stuff. And then outside of that, like, just babysitting the kids whenever my wife's working. I haven't had a chance to play any games recently, which has had me pretty bummed out. Cause I've still, as of like, I got the next thing on my to-do list is to review Soul's Mask, which I had even talked about that last week. I'm like, haven't even started that. But I did get to preview Soul Seed this week, and that was a ton of fun. And I got
right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. That's definitely something I want to get on day one. And it's I've never had to sit here and describe a game as like a Ghost Recon meets a Souls-like game, which is like the coolest thing to say. But I finally finished Hellblade, which I was like an hour away from finishing. Oh my gosh, what a gorgeous game, guys. Oh, I love that game so much. I resonate
about
a lot
halfway
with it.
through.
You're about halfway
Pick
through?
it up and-
Yeah,
I
I think
play
I'm about
play it for about an hour, and then I put it down.
Well,
it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous game.
I think even Dano wrote an article about how we need more games that are this length, right? Or am I okay? Yeah, because like that's my thing. Is like here we are. It is the 14th of June. It's been out for almost a month, and I'm just now finishing it. Like most people, it's gonna take them that long to finish a game that's that small. But yeah. And I really wanted to get into Destiny. I will surprise you with the one thing that I did get into while I was sick. The Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, you did,
dude.
yeah. All around for that. Yeah.
I took the laptop, laid on bed, and played that. Oh my gosh, that's such a great game. I loved it.
So fun. Yeah, so fun. I don't play those games. Like I'm not a. I know there's quite a big following of them. Like, is it Dead by Daylight? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
That style of like 2v7 or 1v3 or whatever it is. I played the what was it? The Evil Dead. That was a bit of fun.
Oh yeah, I heard
it
good things.
It didn't completely grab me. I kind of played it for a few weeks and then put it down. But this was like silly and fun, and I found it like really stacked on the clown's side. Like
Yeah.
the playing as the clown was like really easy. Like I found it very easy. But yeah, playing as the humans. Whew,
Now, have you?
I always get smashed by those sorts of games. I never know what I'm doing. I run around like a headless chicken, and I feel like I don't get the whole what I'm meant to be doing properly. Like, and then I get murdered. So that is quite often.
See, I'm the exact same way, and this is the first time. The reason I'm like praising it is because this is the first time I felt like, oh, I get it. Because whenever I play like the humans, Fraser, have you played it since it like fully released?
yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say I ended up having a little bit of a different experience with it because sometimes, like, I started this match and, like, the humans ganged up on the clowns. I'm not even kidding you. Like, as soon as the game started, they all stuck together as a group, came in, charged the clowns, and beat the crap out of them. Then they ran off and got what they needed to do and got out of there. I was like, holy crap. Like, that was actually super smart. But, yeah, I've never successfully made it out of one of those games alive on my own until this game. And yeah, I felt like I did a pretty good job at like telling you like, hey, here's your opportunities. These are the things you're going to need. This is what you're looking for. And I had watched the movie. My sister was in visiting and we watched the movie together, and oh my gosh, what a good time. Yeah, I mean, that's such a funny movie. And like after playing the game, I'm like, oh my gosh, the balloon dog is in here. I love this. Like, I'm already just a fan. Like, what a great game. Let me check the kids real quick, and then we'll get right into this.
Yeah, perfect. What have you been playing, Eddie?
What have I been playing? I'm halfway. I think I've done 2.5 hours in Hellblade 2. I think about halfway through. I've been on X Defiant quite a lot. That's really kind of just scratching an itch that I didn't know I had at the moment. It's just like, it reminds me of, like, I know there's a lot of shooters that'll be similar to this, but it reminds me of kind of old school Call of Duty where you like level up, and the more you level up, the more equipment you get for your gun, and then the more equipment you get for your loadout, and then it gets a bit more advanced and technical and stuff like that. But it's like quite just go out and kill things and have fun with it, and it's a good do. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So just try to bash through it because I'm a bit of an achievement whore. So I'm trying to get through and get all of the achievements. I've just got one to get, which is get to level 50. It's a bit grindy, but
really,
the gameplay loop is pretty it's pretty fun. So I'm enjoying that. And I'm completely blanking. Oh, I just started because of after the showcases and everything. I reinstalled all of the Gears of War.
How's that going?
Well, they're all installed, and I went straight back to Ultimate Edition. I was like, just want to get a dabble on the old school multiplayer and just get that that really kind of gritty 2006 vibe. Upscaled for the newer gen. And it spent ages trying to find games, and then I had to switch my region to US East because there's just nothing in Europe apparently. And then I got spanked repeatedly last night when I finally got into games, and like level 100 going up to level 100s who are obviously farming not farming, but they get a grinding kills for the seriously achievement, which is I'd love to get that, but I'm 9,000.
It's a pretty big achievement, that one.
So they're obviously pros. I don't know if they ever stop playing, but they just feel like just murdering it. I had another go tonight before we jumped on, and I managed to get. I had a good run. I saved the clip. Actually, I got like 3 or 4 kills on bounce. I felt like a god. Like
yes,
yes,
that's so good. Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
Now, I know Fraser, he actually took some notes going into all of this. Now, is there
you don't expect me to be prepared.
But he sent me a message and he's like, I'm taking notes, and I'm like, oh shoot, I need to go back and do that, because when I watched it, I was like, Addy or Adam. I'm sorry, in my head you're just Addy, but like
it's fine. I like Addy. It's fine. Yeah, that's why I go with it.
But yeah, in my head I'm like, Addy and Dano are on top of this new stuff. all weekend, and I wanted to like do my best to help with that. And also, it's like a self-fulfillment dream of mine to like cover a Xbox showcase. So like I wanted to be a part of that and help with that. And I think I wrote like 2 rinky-dink articles about Dragon Age and Perfect Dark. I, farted those out and got like, each article got like 1 view, and I'm like, well, that was not worth my attention. Because then I go back and I look back and I'm like, some of the games, I'm like, man, I don't even remember seeing that. Like some of these original games people are talking about, I don't even really remember seeing them. And I wanted to go back before starting this and rewatch the whole thing. So honestly, this recap is going to be me rediscovering these games for the first time, kind of.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
I found there were heaps of games that I hadn't heard anything about. It was, I don't know if it's just me being not in the right place or whatever, but as we were watching through, I was like, man, I've never even seen this or heard of this.
Really?
And yeah, so it's been great.
Oh,
No, in the summer games.
Yeah.
The Summer Games Fest was the one where I was like, I didn't even know that this was coming out. So it was very cool. Definitely got a couple of things that piqued my interest a lot. Cool.
You know what? That reminds me. That's my first question for you, Fraser. Is how was your overall experience watching these showcases? For like really paying attention to them, and like, did you get to experience that moment of like, oh shit, this is it? Like we were talking about with Alan Wake.
Yeah, I did. I like I said last time, like I've never followed any of the showcases ever. They'll happen, and then I'll kind of like read up about what I'm interested in afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was cool. Like they were all on super early for me on work days. So, I'd get up at, I think the Xbox One was 3 a.m. for me. So get up, watch that, go to work. It was like brutal, but it was loads of fun. I like I said, there was heaps that I had no idea was even a thing that really grabbed me and was like, wow, I'm going to be following this, and hopefully they're great.
I'm so sorry. I've got a gnat. it's flying directly in my eyes. I'm like, that's awesome. I love hearing that. Now, you want to go ahead and share with the class what your favorite, like, what was your most notable highlights just over all the showcases?
Oh man, let me just pull up my little ditties here. I had, like, for me, the Xbox showcase was the big one. It was just banger after banger after banger. But the Summer Games Fest was what interested me the most. Like the Xbox ones, they're all going to be fun. They're going to be great. I'm going to play them.
Yeah.
But then, there were ones coming through the Summer Games Fest, like Tears of Metal, for instance. It looks fantastic. Like it's a roguelike medieval hack and slash. The animation and art style reminded me of like early Borderlands, like that cell shading. Throughout the trailer, I'm just like, this looks great. Like, it just looks better and better and better. And then they're like, oh, by the way, it's a roguelite. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm not the hugest fan of roguelites, but everything else in the trailer interested me. So I'm definitely gonna be checking that one out.
What was the title of this game again?
Gears of Metal.
Gears of Metal. Okay, let's
Tears
of Metal. Okay.
Tears of Metal.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull that up for. Okay. Oh, okay. I know exactly what you're talking about right now. Yes, this game does look phenomenal.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. Like look at that animation. Like I don't know. There's just something about it, and just the brutal, gory battle scenes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like,
get proper Highlander vibes, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. And then like throughout the whole trailer, you're just kind of hack and slashing your way through everything. And then right at the end, they're like, "Oh, it's a roguelite." And I'm like, "Okay, well, if that's the case, how are they gonna incorporate it into what I'm seeing here?"
Mm.
Because like my kind of roguelite experiences are very limited. I haven't played a lot of them. I mean, like, look at this. Like, what are we doing here?
That kind of reminds me of like Hades, how you reach a point and a god pops up and it's like, hey, do you want this perk or that perk? That's kind of what that made me think of there.
Yeah,
It looked
and
like
like
really good.
are
Sorry.
our abilities and powers that we're choosing, are they just for us, this character, or
Mm.
are they for our army? Because it looks like we're not alone.
Well, it does look like when
And
you go back to the town, it looks like you get like there was a particular thing where you had like four sets of people, and like you add new people and like build your ranks up through that bit where you coordinate your men sort of thing, maybe.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So that looked fantastic to me. That was something that I didn't even know that I needed in my life, and and here we are. I found I'm not a JRPG person. There were quite a few kind of JRPG things that came through that they look great, and for people that like that, fantastic for them.
Yeah.
I'm a huge survival horror person, like we talked about last week. The fact that Blumhouse is getting into games is super exciting.
Oh yeah.
Their horror stuff is brilliant. Yeah, so it looks like there's a couple of like newer style games, and then like what the Theater of Idols and Fear from the Spotlight. Like that Fear from the Spotlight almost looks like we see it on Twitter all the time. Oh, the graphics look like a PlayStation 2 game. Like this actually does, and they've done it on purpose, and it looks amazing.
Fear of the Spider.
Fear from the Spotlight.
Oh, Fear from the Spotlight.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
And then
deaf.
the other one from Blumhouse that really looked cool was Grave Seasons. It's a farming simulator with murder. So I don't know. Like I mean, look at this. It like
I mean,
Blumhouse.
the Blumhouse games thing is like one of the things on the top list of my things I would love to talk about at some point today, whether it be on this podcast or the Inside podcast, which, I did forget to talk about that when we started.
Look
But
at this.
yeah, they're doing amazing stuff over there. I don't know. I really wanted to freshen myself up on some of the information. Do either of you, are you guys knowledgeable on what Blumhouse is doing over there?
Six
I just got
games, isn't it?
yeah, six games.
Yeah, it was like 6 games, and like they're really okay, listen, it's if you don't mind me going off on a little tangent about this.
No, do it.
This past year has been not even just this past year, but last year was so horrendous as for the games industry. It's just been, and I'm getting so fucking sick and tired of the fucking Embracer group. Pardon my fucking French, but like, fuck the Embracer group, right? And for what they've done to the game industry and what they're continuing to do, and constant job losses, and you constantly see these big corporations and big companies who are so out of they're just they're tone deaf. They're very tone deaf and don't know what they're doing. And you can tell that they're just, hey, we heard there's money to be made here, that's why we're here. But Blumhouse has showed up, and you hear about these big corporations dipping their toes into the gaming industry, and you just kind of roll your eyes and proceed to be like, okay, well, yeah, that's another one. Like, it's gotten to the point where you just don't even think twice about somebody getting into it now. And typically whenever they do get into it, they're very braggy about like, oh, this is going to be a quadruple A game. And like, it's like, okay, buddy. And then it comes out and it's Gollum. And it's like, you get these really trash games that lead to layoffs and studio closures of teams that are extremely talented because they weren't given the proper resources. They weren't given the proper expectations from the higher ups. So, and then to see Blumhouse come out here and just be like, we are here because we want to create a platform for people who are very passionate about horror games. We don't care what those games look like. You guys know what you're doing. We just want to give you the platform to do those things. I can't even think off the top of my head when the last time a big company like that did that. You know what I mean? Like, they what they're doing is something really special. All of their games look extremely interesting to me, and the ones that I have seen, granted I haven't seen all of them, what I have seen, I'm like very interested. I really want to try these games out, and I don't get the vibe from them. Now, vibe checking is, not factual and just an entirely my own thing, but like, I don't get the vibe that they have these expectations of them to uphold these extremely high sales numbers. They are just here for the fucking art, which is what every publisher should be doing. They should be here for the art and nurturing their studios to help make better games rather than, hey, here's our expectations, pull through or get lost. I'm not a professional, but I feel like that's just such a transparent thing in the games industry. It's sad, and I'm telling you, it's just very heartwarming for me to see someone like Blumhouse come out and have the behaviors and attitudes that they're having. And I know like one of the games is a couple, like a married couple who are just making this small little indie game together. And I don't know. I just love that. I love that they're this platform they're creating. But that's my little rant about that.
Yeah, just I can't remember what the CEO of Blumhouse, what his name is, Mr. Blum. I can't remember.
Mr. Blum, yes.
But you can tell that he just loves horror. Like he's like the movies that he makes. It's horror. It's gory, fun, ridiculous horror. It seemed to be that these 6 titles that are coming first they just look fun. Like, we looked like we got the kind of the first person Metro style full on horror, and then there's like a farming simulator that's got like a murder mystery built into it.
Yeah.
And then we've got other, like that one that we saw, the Fear from the Spotlight, that kind of looks like an original Silent Hill style, fixed camera. You kind of just wander through the scene. Like, I don't know, it's exciting times.
It really is.
Exciting times for us horror fans.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was thinking of you when they came out, and I'm not gonna be able to hear Blumhouse and not think Mr. Blum. Like, that's gonna be going through my head every time now. That's amazing.
The guy in Cluedo, isn't he? Like, it was Mr. Blum in the drawing room with the candlestick.
The candlestick.
What you said about the because that's that thing with Warner Brothers with Rocksteady, isn't it? That they Kill the Justice League was like it had intervention from the higher ups, didn't it? Sort of thing, and then it kind of lost its way, and it's like, well, what happens to that team now? And they wanted to go back to basics and go back to what they do, which like these killer single player games, but like, are they going to have some sort of, well, your last game didn't perform very well, so we're going to have to be making some snips and cuts or whatever else, or is this their last chance? Or it throws everything into. I know,
it's not their last chance, because their single player stuff is phenomenal.
Absolutely. When they're not jacking off the Batmobile, it's really good.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I don't know what their expectations are, and I'm like dreading the day where they do come out and be like, hey, this didn't meet our expectations were shutting you down. I don't have any faith in Warner Brothers, and talking about another freaking publisher that's just completely tone deaf to the situation. It's like to sit there and then also say we need to be buckling down on live service games. They don't know what they have. And as somebody who loves DC, I'm a DC guy. I am very passionate about all Warner Brothers titles and all these. And then you got Mortal Kombat, you got Injustice, you got so many phenomenal games that are like right up my alley. Nathan Ass Games, and to see it owned by a publisher that just doesn't feel like they give a shit about their IPs is so disheartening. I mean, even with something I recently learned, just a fun little side note, but like I had no idea that the Nemesis system from Shadow of War was
patented, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's patented. Like they don't want to share that. Like that would have been such a phenomenal thing for the games industry as a whole to have. Like it. Could you imagine? I mean, oh my gosh, like Baldur's Gate 3 with the Nemesis system. Games like that, or Mass Effect or Dragon Age. If Dragon Age came out and was like, yeah, we've got the Nemesis system as well as all these. Oh, that would be amazing. But
what have they done with the Nemesis system? They made 2 games.
Yeah.
And
the first one was
it.
brilliant. The second one, I enjoyed the second one, and I played it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought out the DLC for that, and it was like a roguelite style thing. And then they've done nothing else with it.
Nope.
Like,
what was the point in locking it down? Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That's what I'm worried PlayStation's going to do with the difficulty AI. Like they patented this like difficulty system. Now I vaguely know about this topic, so please comment if I'm wrong. But they patented a difficulty setting where like it tracks your level of skill and kind of just tries to continually match your skill throughout the game. And we haven't really seen this setting or this patent like shown off in a game yet, but I would be interested in seeing because if that is as cool as it sounds, like, assholes, why'd you patent that? It just sucks.
I do feel like Sony would use it though. Like I do feel like
they would be.
They would use it, but also they were probably like, oh, if you use it, you have to pay us, sort of thing. So they would probably have it available to people could put it in their games. But I do feel like there must be some games that have got like a scaling adaptive difficulty type thing already.
Hellblade.
What makes this different to...
I think The Last of Us has got something like that. I might be wrong, but I feel like The Last of Us did use something like that. But yeah, I'm just trying to think as well. There's any because there's a few games I can't think of them off the top of my head, but like during loading screens and that kind of stuff, there are games that I feel that say that they do scale the difficulty with that.
The better you get, the harder it gets, sort of thing, isn't it? It's
but yeah, like I'm blanking now what they are. But yeah, back to like the Warner Brothers thing, like, we saw that Arkham Shadow trailer.
Oh yes.
And I was like, oh cool, we're getting another Batman. And then MetaQuest. And I was like, well, I find
the MetaQuest thing incredibly annoying. I mean, as a PSVR 2 owner, it's like it doesn't feel like VR is big enough to have exclusives like that. Like just exclusives at all, really. Like this is maybe an extension of the what happens in the console thing in the future, but like it's the features your hardware provides, like a phone, my Android or my iPhone. Like what do I get from the phone that I want to use? But I can get Spotify on both. I can get whatever it is. So the same way, like why aren't my games like, because PSVR 2, with the features it's got with the eye tracking and the immersive features or whatever, that's like how they implement that in the game should be what sells you to PSVR 2, not can I get this game? Because most of the time you can't. It's like the Sniper Elite VR thing came out on MetaQuest. Batman came out on MetaQuest, and I was like, oh, come on. And they'll come out eventually, probably, but like, Yeah, it's just very
Like I've
frustrating.
got a MetaQuest 2, I
Mm.
think. I never use it. One of my friends bought it and was like, "I never use this. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll give you $100 for it." And then I got it and I was like, "Oh, there's that Assassin's Creed game, cool." And then
Yeah.
I never downloaded it, never played it. I think there's some sort of zombie game that I play every now and again, but like I almost forget that I have it. And I'm not gonna go out and buy Arkham Shadow for it.
No.
Um, I've got $60 or $70 to spend somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah,
There's not been the this is worth 70 quid thing for it, like, because a lot of the stuff on VR like been experiences, haven't they? Like if you look at the Batman game on the last Batman VR game, it was like an hour and a half, wasn't it? And like it was priced right, but you're not paying top whack for that, are you?
yeah, exactly.
But I use my VR mainly for rhythm games like Beat
Yep,
Saber and
yep,
Synthwave.
yep.
I mean, I love them. Don't get me wrong. I like banging on some heavy metal with Ragnarok, and it feels proper fun, and it's a bit of a workout as well. But
Yep.
the only game I've played that's not been those things has been that Tin Hearts VR, which I loved and I reviewed for the site, and it was just amazing. A really cool game, like Lemmings, but
Okay.
little
Yeah.
clockwork soldiers, and you're like
Yeah.
stood in like it's like a 3D map that you got to try and guide these soldiers to the end point, and you've got to create like there's barriers in the way and there's things that would destroy your soldiers and stuff. So you've got to place the like blocks in the way so they can like navigate it safely and stuff. And it's really cool how there's like a narrative around it as well. And that was a really fun game to play. I mean, after
Mm-hmm.
2 hours of playing it, I'm like, I need to take the headset off now because I've got like my eyes feel like they might explode. But that's just
Yeah.
there's just a stamina you've got to build up with that
Yeah,
sort of stuff.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's
It's
right.
really fun though.
But yeah, there's definitely some cool things that they can do
Yeah.
with the VR. Like there was I can't remember that. There's that zombie movie. I can't remember what it's
World War
called.
Z.
No, it's the funny one with like Emma Stone and
Zombieland.
yeah, that's it, Zombieland. So there's a
Yes.
Zombieland game,
How
and
is it?
you
Twinkie.
shooting, and you've got your shotgun on your belt, so you have to put your hand down to pull out your shotgun, and like it's cool, it's fun, but like again, that was only $20.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spend I'm not gonna play it for more than a couple of hours at a time.
Yeah. Do you get like
And
really motion sick when playing game?
yeah,
Yeah.
my eyes get sore, and I have to take it off, and then I kind of put it down and I look at it. I'm like, oh, you made my eyes sore. I can't be bothered with that today.
So now as far as all of this exclusivity with the exclusivity with the 3, right? The Oculus 3. Do you think that pushes the needle and any kind of narrative that, Meta is wanting? Like what do you think the narrative is of Meta that they're trying to push with this exclusivity talk?
I well, I think exclusivity people it forces people to buy that console or that thing if they really want to do it. Like if I really want to play Arkham Shadow and the only place to do it is there, am I going to buy it? But then they need more than just one every now and again.
Yeah, but
Like,
do you think this pushes the needle at all?
not for me.
I mean, that's the thing with VR for me is it's such a niche thing. It's not like the mainstream. What's the attach rate on VR for the PlayStation
Right.
5? Like, yeah, how many people have bought PSVR 2? And you can see in the kind of level of support that Sony's kind of giving it, what feels like Sony are giving it, that like it's not really doing dambuster numbers, is it? It's like,
Right.
so is it surely you want people in your ecosystem, sure, because then you'll buy games, you'll maybe buy microtransactions, and you'll pay the extra stuff to be in the system. They have your data, they can market to you, they can sell your data if they, whatever. But like, what do you get for doing this? Because how much will it cost to get the exclusive on Arkham Shadow, and then the cost of it. Is it a loss leader? Are you taking a hit to get people in your ecosystem? Maybe. I don't know. I can't. It just feels a bit weird to go full on with the exclusives like that on such a niche area of gaming for me.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of my thought too, is like, if you're going to put the money into exclusivity, why aren't you just putting the money into, owning a portion of that studio, or like having a little bit more say in like what happens out of that studio that way? Because like you said, it's such a niche thing, and why not try to make as much money as possible from this thing? Because to me, when I saw that it was exclusivity, it felt like I always hate kind of just trying to be like, oh yeah, this is clearly like a console war type of thing, but like I can't help but think, are they thinking about PSVR 2? Are they feeling threatened at all by it? Because I can't imagine that they are feeling threatened, but I look at it as their way of saying, stay down. Like, we own this turf. Like,
we've got that, man. What have you got?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, we heard you're coming to PC. You still can't play our games. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how I take it when I heard, like, oh man, they're like doubling down randomly on exclusivity, or maybe, randomly is the wrong word to use, because I mean, I haven't been paying enough attention to know how many exclusive titles have been coming to Oculus, but that's kind of how I viewed it, but I don't follow enough to say anything educated about it.
The only thing that stands out to me is that you kind of stifle the market a little bit, don't you? I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But in terms of like how many VR headsets are there? I can't think off the top of my head. There's a Hive is one, and then you've got Meta, PSVR 2, and whichever ones else there are. Like, and do you see there's a difference in the type of headset from the PSVR 2? The eye tracking thing was something different. The rumbling headsets and all that sort of stuff, and they're innovating slightly. But then they get killed by the innovation gets killed, and it doesn't follow on because there isn't the buy-in, because the game's out there. So like you were saying, Nathan, if the games are across all the platforms, and whoever had the exclusive rights to the game was making money off PSVR 2 selling Batman Arkham Shadows on PSVR 2, then they're still making the money, but it continues to support this very still feels quite new mainstream thing. But actually, does VR just die a death because people have just locked it down too much?
Yeah.
And only Meta can innovate now. And it's like, well, actually, PSVR 2 or someone else had a really good innovative idea, but didn't have the budget or didn't have the confidence that they could survive, so they didn't bother. And they're like, well, yeah, it's the same thing. That's the big argument with consolidation, isn't it? Around, buying up all that sort of stuff, and then indies can't survive, and that sort of thing. Or studios just generally can't survive. So it's that same sort of thing.
I know back when High on Life came out, that was something that what's his name, the dude who got canceled. I can't think.
Justin Roiland.
Yes, Justin Roiland. That was something he had talked about, was the fact that he was like, we weren't making the money. It wasn't there. And, speaking of exclusivity, again, correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure their Rick and Morty game was an exclusive initially on PlayStation VR 1, maybe?
And the actual virtual reality, was it?
Yeah, the virtual reality. Like, it started out as an exclusive, I'm pretty sure, on PSVR 1, and then eventually made its way out onto other platforms. So I feel like that's probably a pretty good thing to look at when you're sitting there talking about what does exclusivity do for a studio, because at the end of the day, Justin Roiland was like, we didn't make the money in the VR space, so we moved over to do High on Life, and that went extremely well for them. Yeah.
I just said I bought as soon as they announced that PSVR 2 was getting that adapter for PC. I went and bought virtual reality because it got announced it was being delisted, I think, as well. So I was like, "Oh, quick, buy it," sort of thing. So I've got it in my Steam library. I can play it when I get my when the adapter goes on sale. I'm sorted.
Yeah.
But
Love it. Love it.
Trover Saves the Universe, which was another VR game that they then ported to non-VR, didn't they? And High on Life, both brilliant games. I really enjoyed them. Like you just got
I haven't played High on Life yet. It's in my list, but I mean,
you'll love it. There's a really aggressive Australian knife, and who just like
brilliant, brilliant.
Just wants to stab everyone. He's great.
I know that I'm going to enjoy it, but for whatever reason, it just, I don't know. It gets to the top of the pile, and then I'm like, oh, I'll do something else.
I got really went as soon as I got started playing it properly. Like, I'm just sucked in now. I'm just going to keep playing that. It was really cool, and the DLC was good fun as well.
On the virtual reality.
No, on the High on Life.
Oh, High on Life. That is one game that I love that. I never did get to play the DLC.
Oh, dude, no, it's really cool. It's really fun.
So,
all right, well,
I want to go ahead and get into this. Well, actually, you know what? No, crap. One more thing. Addy, do you want to go ahead and tell us what your notes are? Like, what was your highlights of the showcases in general? And while you do that, my daughter just told me she spilled milk everywhere, so I'm going to clean that up while you hold down the fort, okay?
Okay, well, there's no use crying over it, so just all right. I think, for the I think the showcase, Xbox wise, I think was the one that I was like most excited for the stuff I saw. I suppose they brought the big guns this time, and I think that Dano did a piece on this is the right time for a show like that, and they absolutely nailed it. I think they kind of were setting the stall out a little bit for what's coming up. But
just the opening of the shredding guitars, and you're like, I know what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I need it right now.
I mean, if you could open with Black Ops, like if you normally Call of Duty is your big number, isn't it? And then you open with Black Ops 6 and go straight into Doom, and you're like, wow, okay.
Yeah,
but
all right,
I think
I'm here.
The thing that I think Gears of War E-Day was like, I audibly whooped out loud. Like I was in the room on my own. I was just here. I was like, yeah. Like this Marcus, this Dom. I've been asking nobody, but I've been asking for something in E-Day around that, because I think that I love it when a series or whatever starts in the middle of something, because then you've got the option to I want to know what happened, I want the lore, I want to find out what's going on, sort of thing. And E-Day has always been like a really intriguing kind of thing, and just the fact that they're doing it, they're going back to kind of like that kind of action horror-y vibe. The first one where you know, is the Krill going to be there? Is General Ram going to be back? And it's just the whole very excited. That was probably there's nothing there. It's just that really cool kick-ass trailer. Like we just that felt so powerful.
And just with the music, the Mad World,
the Mad World, the chords from Mad World
in the background.
Oh my god! So Gears, absolutely. I was very excited to see more Perfect Dark. Oh, not even more, just some Perfect Dark. Like, because the rumors around it was Addy in trouble and what have you, and bringing Crystal Dynamics and what does that mean and stuff like that. But to see it really happen, I love the N64 original, and just and that was better than GoldenEye for me. I mean, GoldenEye is incredible, but it just evolved the kind of mechanics of it all, and just I loved it all. So there's that. But the one that I wasn't expecting was Atomfall. Looks really like Fallout Britain, is what it kind of feels like. So it's by Rebellion, who does Sniper Elite, and when I first saw Rebellion come up on screen, and then you see kind of like the countryside, I thought, is it Sniper Elite 6, which I would have been very happy with. But then it was like, there's something not the same here, and then it's like, it's actually like there's like some sort of apocalypse, and then not a full apocalypse, but there's an apocalypse in the Lake District, which is like up the road from me. So look at that, it looks gorgeous as well, and it just really cool. And then you just see there's something gone on, and it's apparently based on a real nuclear disaster that happened in the UK. sort of like accident happened. It was kind of like the worst one in its history, and then but they've taken that twist and gone, well, we've got blue glowy creatures in it now, and beating up people who are Morris dancers, which I think is completely legitimate, even when there isn't an apocalypse. No, I'm not advocating that, obviously. It just looks ace. It looks really cool, and I love that. I hope they keep like the British humour going and stuff like that. It'd be great for that. It looks great. I don't know if you guys were drawn to this at all.
Yes.
Oh yes,
Yes,
100%.
The world just looks incredible to me. Yeah, like the kind of the what does it look like, the 50s? Is that when we're
late 50s? I think it's set in. Yeah.
And then to have the kind of the mechs walking around as well, but they don't look super futuristic. They kind of they look like they've just been like slapped together with a few little bibs and bobs.
It gave me Wolfenstein vibes in that respect, kind of like just after the kind of where the Nazis were in Wolfenstein, but not as like this is not as advanced, but like those kind of mechs in that. It reminded me of that. But yeah, and like there's like you've got to figure out what's gone on in the mystery of it all. So it looks really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And then there was one that was done in the Latin games, Latin American game showcase. And that was called Mariachi Legends, I think. It was right at the end, and it looked really cool. I really loved the look of that. And it just stuck in my mind about like that looks really fun. It's coming out on PC, which I think. So I hope it comes out on other stuff as well, because it looks like the sort of game that I think everyone would enjoy.
Is that... Am I looking up the right thing here?
Mariachi. I called it Mariachi. It might have been wrong. What I called it? It was right at the end. It was like the one more thing of the Latin American game showcase. Like there's a lot of showcase, and I still haven't watched 2 of them. So Mariachi Legends. Yeah,
Legends. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get it pulled up here because I haven't heard of this game.
No, I don't know this one either.
That's the one.
I'm not going to turn the volume up because I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. Tell us a little bit about it. What do you know about it?
Well, I don't know much about it, to be honest. Only what was in the trailer. I don't know if it was brand new announced. I went to Mexico on my honeymoon, so I was very much in the I was always on the lookout for those sort of vibes. And it just looked really cool, like this kind of 2D scroller, the hand, like almost looks I think it's hand-drawn animations and stuff. And I don't know if you're solving a mystery. It's lovely. He's like making notes and he puts it back. I just love it. It looks so cool. It just has a right vibe to it that I love. But it's got like kind of skellies who it's not just humans in there. But I love the live action stuff in this trailer because it makes me proper laugh. It feels like the novellas that they do.
Well, is the live action stuff in the game?
I don't think so.
It's giving Alan Wake vibes.
It's an action platformer. It blends Mexican folklore and classic arcade gameplay.
Okay.
It's an action platformer. Yeah,
here we get some combat. Look at. Oh.
Yeah, Detective Pablo.
Oh, that was
wow.
Cool. Yeah. This looks great.
Yeah, I think there was that point with the whip, and I was like, "Yo, that was great." And there's all the different abilities. I was like, "This looks fun."
This is one of those times where you realize you're a hypocrite. All those times I've listened to podcasts and you hear these guys freaking out, and you're like, "I want to describe it to me." I can't describe what we're looking at for the audio listeners other than a really dope ass 2D game. All right, go and check out this trailer. Mariachi Legends. Oh my gosh, like
it made me think of like Dead Cells in Mexico. It was kind of like the Mexican Dead Cells sort of thing. It just had that really cool Latina vibe sort of thing. It was great. It was
looks fantastic.
Yeah,
really cool. So there's loads of stuff, isn't there? But
I'll be putting that on my list, definitely.
Yeah, I think we're doing 8 of the roundup type summary articles, which I think was great because you can just look. I mean, I really like the idea of them like having them all in one place because, like you said, Fraser, like if you've got a 2-hour show, like, am I going to go back and watch that? Is it likely and stuff like that? So, but if you can go cherry pick the bits that you like are interested in, or see a bit of a summary and then click the video and watch it and stuff, or that was really cool. But made me really realize how many games are out there. Like there was some crossover. There was a couple of games that were shown across 3 or 4 of the ones that I did a review of, roundup of. But like, for the most part, most of them were like only shown in one place. There's 3 or 4 that have 70 games in them. And then you've got
That's
the
a lot of
Xbox
games,
show.
man.
You've got
That's
the
a
Xbox
lot of
showcase,
games.
the
Holy
Games Fest,
crap.
the Women's Led stuff, the Latin American one, Day of the Devs, the Devolver one. I mean, Devolver one had 6 games and it was only 20 minutes. I was grateful for that. But it's so easy to just miss all of the like Mariachi Legends, to miss the cool stuff
Yep.
that you might not see because it gets buried. And I kind of want to say to Jeff and everybody, like, just cool it a little bit, like spread it out over the year, give people that platform still, but spread it out, because how many people will not have seen the majority of games that have been shown because it's not on Xbox is shown, it's not the Summer Game Fest one. Because you did E3, you turned up for the PlayStation one, the Xbox one, maybe the PC one, the Nintendo one, and then you'd be done, wouldn't you? And would you watch anything else that's going on? Maybe the EA one, or like, oh, well, they'll have shown most of it at the Xbox one anyway. So it's like, well, it just feels like there's a bit of it's too much quantity. I mean, there's lots of great stuff, but yeah.
Well, my
Go
first
to a
thought
music festival with 70 acts, and it's over 2 or 3 days, not an hour. Not just 30-second videos. Bam, this one. Bam, 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 bam. You don't even have a chance to absorb what you've just seen, and now you're seeing something else. Like I was stopping the video and like writing stuff down, and then watching a bit more, and then writing some more stuff down, and like it was just an hour and a half or something, and I think it took me like 2 or 3 hours to watch it.
Yeah.
And that was one of them. I didn't.
Now,
wild.
isn't that how Summer Games Fest initially started out? Was that it was like this supposed to be an actual summer long game festival where we focus on all this stuff? I wonder if that had changed from what you're describing, just because maybe attention spans drifted away shortly after the E3 season, and maybe it just didn't get covered as much. I'm just speculating here. I'm not sure.
It's changing the hype, I suppose. It's chasing that hype dragon, isn't it? It's like wanting to be the point of conversation all the time, isn't it? And because you've got Summer Games Fest and you've got opening night live in August around Gamescom time, and then you've got then you've got Game Awards, which the awards are second fiddle to the actual reveals. What it feels like it more recently, doesn't it? So it's about just being present in the conversation, I suppose, rather than. And like you hear like if you listen to other podcasts or narrative in the games industry, and people's like, these kind of slices of what we're putting together don't just happen. Like, to build a trailer or to show you a slice of what we're building, it takes time. We could be developing the game.
And how much does it cost?
How much did it cost?
The price of showing a video, what, couple of $100,000, you could spend that on texturing some door frames or putting another animation in, or like, I don't know. I know that these bigger companies, like say Xbox for instance, they'll pay that, they'll fit that bill for some of these smaller teams.
Yeah.
But instead of that, why don't they just give them the money and be like, hey, like, here's $300,000. What can you do with it? Can you put some shadows on the water? Can you incorporate some sort of fire? I don't know. I don't know how much that kind of stuff costs, but like, I don't know. I just feel like there's something better that they could do with all that money.
Oh, absolutely.
It has to be.
Yeah, I mean, and it was to the point that you said before, Nathan, about Blumhouse Games and like being that platform for these kind of games. And there's a thing that was mentioned in Summer Game Fest, that Outer Sloth, which the devs of
Among Us, wasn't it?
Say again.
Among Us? Is it Among Us?
Yes, Among Us, yeah. But they're doing like a similar thing. So there's like almost like a funding type thing where smaller devs can get like support to create the things. But it feels like these bigger devs, these bigger places like Summer Game Fest, Xbox, PlayStation should be really championing the one like the smaller ones who don't have 250 grand to show this trailer at Summer Games Fest. It's mad. I know that Jeff said that there was some things where people get them for free and they won't charge them, but like there's loads of people who won't get their things shown, will they? But that's probably why there's probably so many different shows. But then are people watching them? I'd love to see the numbers of who's watched what in terms of exposure and stuff.
That'd be a good job
I
for
didn't
Dano.
even watch the Ubisoft one. I didn't. I'm a huge fan of Ubisoft games, and I didn't watch that one.
I didn't bother either. It sounds like it was just more Assassin's Creed, more Star Wars Outlaws, and not really much of anything else other than Anno was announced.
Yeah, they did. They did like a section on Prince of Persia, which was pretty cool. That they kind of announced some DLC for is it the Lost Crown? The most recent
they got like a whole roadmap for that.
Yeah,
people really love that game.
And then I think the Rogue Prince of Persia is getting either a full release or there's an update coming. And then they re-announced that the Sands of Time remake is coming. Very like a teaser trailer in 26. But where is Beyond Good and Evil remaster? Where's Beyond Good and Evil 2? Where's the Splinter Cell remake that was teased two odd years ago? I was sure we were going to get something.
Where's Far Cry? Where's some like?
I was surprised that Far Cry wasn't talked about because that was one game we talked about in our predictions where we're like, oh, Far Cry is going to show up. But it didn't. And I am surprised because like I said in the last podcast we did, I'm pretty sure it was leaked that it was supposed to come out in 2025 or they were aiming for a 2025 release. So why not show something or anything about that?
I always wonder like how easy is it to cut out a video? Like if you get Xbox absolutely smashing it, for example, with all of those games, and then you go, actually, our next big game, Far Cry 7, is going to get buried by all this. Yeah. Well, we've already announced, people know it's coming. Do we cut it out of the thing and just put it to Gamescom or to
somewhere else? Yeah,
and where you can control the narrative a bit more. You're not getting buried under all the other news, maybe. Because they usually tend to go big with Far Cry, don't they? They get a big face actor to do the villain, and it's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we are at about an hour 7 minutes. We got about 30-ish more minutes, and let me just say, I know we're here to talk about our predictions before and what we got out of it and what was like. I just love that we've had a very organic conversation thus far and haven't even started scrolling on this article yet. Like, this is great. This is fantastic. What's that?
I said I forgot that's what we were doing.
I know, right? Like it's funny because I spent like this whole hour being like, well, let's just talk about this first, and then we'll start talking about it. This is great. I love it, man. Now, and what's funny is I'm glad that it's gone the way it's gone because I feel like rather than going through every single thing that got announced, and again, we've got like 30 minutes because we're going to be moving over to a podcast called the Inside Podcast where we're partnering with them and we're kind of going. I think we're going to have Christian on as a guest here fairly soon, and we're going to go over there and continue the conversation of what I don't know what time their episodes air. I actually don't even know what time we'll get ours up, but we're going to continue the conversation of this exact conversation. So I'm kind of glad that our conversation has gone the way it's gone so far, and honestly, I would prefer to continue talking about what was talked about in our last podcast, because I saw in the comments section, speaking of ADHD mind and how mine works, like, let's just talk about last week's episode for a second, because holy shit, guys, like the response we've been getting, the positive feedback, the engagement, I just, it was like a day and we were already like getting up to like 10 subscribers. And I was like, without any kind of like push to like share it around yet, and like we were already getting people watching it. I haven't checked the view count, but like we've got like 25 subscribers in a week with one video. Like we don't even have a YouTube banner up yet. Like it's I'm feeling so good about our future, and I'm really excited about what's to come. And I just want to thank everybody who did listen last week. The reason I thought of that was because I was thinking back to like yesterday. I was like, oh wow, a lot of we got comments, and I was going back through and looking at the comments, and one of them was like Jeff Troidvania talking about how like none of his predictions came true, and he's like, well, this is crap. Like, I don't think really any of our predictions necessarily came true, and that's kind of I kind of got a little bit of a hot take as far as when it comes to the Xbox showcase, but like, and I'll either talk about that here in a little bit or I'll talk about that on the End Side podcast. But you know, my only prediction that I had was that, you know, okay, well, kind of speculating on what could Doom Medieval be. And that wasn't what I thought it would be. Honestly, it was exactly what you thought it was going to be, Frazier. And even at that, with you like kind of hitting the nail on the head as what you thought Doom Medieval was going to be, it still exceeded those predictions. It exceeded those ideas of what it could be. Because I'm just like, there's this one point in the trailer where he's like holding this chainsaw looking like gun. I don't even know how
Shield.
The shield. There's the shield, but then there's also he was holding this gun at one point, and I'm gonna see if I can't try to like this gun right here. That like how do you even describe what that is? Like how can you predict a game that looks like this?
Oh, he scolds. I love it.
Oh, I'm so beyond pumped for this. But you know,
can we say, just appreciate the subtitle there? Epic heavy metal music. I mean, let's just.
That's great.
Stop and think about that. Like the trailer started, and just the chugging guitar started, and I was just like, "This is it. I'm here." And then he gets in a mech.
Dude, I didn't even catch the mace.
What is happening right now? We're on a dragon.
Dude, hold on. Let's rewind that. Dude, I'm pretty sure that's a fucking jetpack with a tail. Like I don't think.
Can you imagine the design meeting of that game? Like, should we put a dragon in it? Like, yeah, let's put a dragon in it.
Oh my
Give me jetpacks? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. But like, I don't. Immortal, is it Immortal? What was the Eternal? Like the Eternal was the music in it was just fantastic. There was
so good.
A 45-minute documentary on them recording the choir section of the soundtrack, and they got in some singers from like incredible bands, and they did this thing, and somehow this was even heavier. Like I'm just so excited. And the grinding skull shotgun,
looks phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, I'm glad that they didn't just do a chainsaw sword, because like that's Warhammer. Warhammer do that.
Yes. Yeah.
A chainsaw shield, brilliant.
Surely the chainsaw sword should be called the chainsword.
It is.
Okay, good. Right, I didn't know if it was like. Please tell me it's not called the chainsaw sword. Like,
no, it's it's definitely a chainsword.
Open goal there.
Yeah.
Now,
but I mean,
go ahead.
No, I'm just sighing with enjoyment.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be phenomenal.
Right.
Idea good, are they?
Yeah.
In tech is just.
Oh, they're so good. So let's continue talking about what our predictions were going into this. The Fallout. So we got to see some Fallout 76 stuff coming up. Were you guys surprised to see that there was no mention of the show? Now, Phil Spencer talked a little. Ryan McCaffrey asked in his interview on the IGN Live show afterwards. They were Sorry, I got distracted there for a second. Sorry. Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings. Sorry, I'd never seen that on OBS, so I was worried that maybe our video recording might crash. But they talked about the Fallout show a little bit in that interview. But that was really about it. I was surprised. I really thought the prediction Jeff Troidvania had, and I think Justin 99, yeah, pretty sure both of them had predicted that we were going to see something, maybe even a teaser trailer or just affirmation that the next season is coming. But we didn't get that. We didn't get a teaser for any of the new projects that they were working on aside from the Fallout 76 expansion, which really makes me wonder, like, did they just have too much to show, like the Xbox showcase in general, that they just had to start like leaving stuff out, or like, you know, hey, we're showing so much, we don't want to take away attention from what is imminent. Like, you know, yeah, we want to share that this Fallout stuff's coming. We want to share that, you know, we're working on Fallout New Vegas too. But I can dream, okay?
So, yeah, these are kind of aspirational announcements.
Well, I think we talked about it last week. Like people underestimate the power of like, say, Fallout 76.
Yep.
The money that brings in. I play Fallout 76, and there's a $22 subscription that you can pay that gives you some things. So I've done that the last 2 months. I don't do it all the time. I usually just will turn it on and play it for a bit and then turn it off again. But like that's $44 I've got from me for essentially nothing. And if there's 1,000 people that do that, but there's tens and hundreds of thousands of people that are doing that. So just giving us a little taste of the Fallout 76 stuff that was coming, and it was coming in like a couple of days. Like, it's already out, and I'm in it. I'm kind of halfway through the new expansion. It's the first time that they've done a map expansion since release. So you think, how long has it been out? 7 years, something like that.
Yes.
For it to have a map expansion like now, I think they put all their eggs in this basket, and they didn't want to like overload the showcase with Fallout stuff. Just do. Sorry.
Yeah, I do wonder if I just think that there's nothing ready. I think that I think that Elder Scrolls 6 tells us that they burned themselves there by announcing something that's not due for another 4 years, and it was announced 6 years ago and whatever else. But I don't know if they expected the Fallout show to be as good, like to be well received as it was, because in the interview they said they start planning these shows at like the start of the year. When Fallout came out in April, didn't it? So that you wouldn't know that the kind of momentum that Fallout would have been giving at that point, other than they were going to put Fallout 76 in. So I know that they mentioned that Todd Howard is he's seen the response and he's reevaluating, considering what might happen again with what they do with Fallout, because obviously he'd said we'll do Starfield, we'll do Elder Scrolls 6, then we'll do Fallout 5, and that's what's that 2035. Just like it's forever away, isn't it? Like but then in the leaked documents from the FTC case thing, FTC documents that were leaked, there was that talk about, is there a New Vegas, is there a Fallout 3 remaster? And are they working on that? Is that a real thing that they're still carrying on? Because it was from a few years ago. So like, I just don't know if anything was ready to announce. But given that the Halo show didn't get as well received as Fallout, maybe they were expecting it to go as well as it did.
Well, that was something I was going to ask you. Do you think things such as they probably poured? I think back to the Redfall marketing. There was such an insane marketing for Redfall where they like had the custom controller lineup. Redfall was everywhere. It was all over the Facebook homepage, and then you also talk about you bring up a good point talking about Halo. Like they brought up the Halo TV show. They helped with the marketing and that was all over Xbox the homepage and all that stuff. Do you think things like Halo and Redfall have maybe made them reevaluate their marketing? I look at Hellblade 2 and, Phil Spencer said, it was a success. Like, didn't really elaborate in that same interview with Ryan McCaffrey. He didn't really elaborate too much on the success of Hellblade 2. But do you think that they have reevaluated how they market their games since those two things, and they're just using a lot more caution when backing a new project, or any project for that matter, especially with Hellblade? It's like they've been showing that game off for all these years, and they literally waited until the week of it dropping to literally put out a post saying Hellblade 2, May whatever it was.
Well,
like,
I don't know about you guys, but I don't see adverts much anymore. Like I pay for YouTube Premium.
That's true.
I don't
Right.
I don't see ads. I don't get ads. I don't watch television. I don't, like the ads, you go to the movies, you see the trailers. They don't really have ads anymore. Like, and we don't know how much, or like, I don't know what advertising costs. Like, they're kind of, are they saving money now? If they have a $5 million advertising budget, what else can we do with that?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's that risk and reward thing. Do you overmarket it and then it doesn't sell anywhere, and you've blown all your money, or you undermarket it and the game doesn't sell, but then like, we didn't spend enough money on the marketing. But I know that they actually went really all out with it. But like, if you don't see it, if you're not present for it, then like, especially in the Twitter sphere, then because they projected something on the White Cliffs of Dover, which is quite a big thing to do that no one's going to see, because like no one's walking past the White Cliffs of Dover on the cliff edge on the sea to see it projected onto the thing, which is like, no, they was in the tube stations. It was all like, you see shots of where it was from Hellblade's perspective. But the point you said, Nathan, around did they reevaluate stuff, and then it wasn't specifically said in that interview with Ryan McCaffrey and Phil Spencer. But they did say that when they were doing the Activision Blizzard deal, that they kind of didn't say drop the ball, and didn't specifically mention any games. I think they mentioned Redfall, actually, thinking about it. But either way, they said that like they weren't necessarily as on it as they should have been, and things were they're getting away from them, and they hadn't realized how much they were having to do. And I wonder if that's where the Redfall thing, where it just ended up being released, and like we shouldn't have, and Phil had to go on and say we shouldn't have released it in that state. I mean, the whole Redfall thing is another conversation, isn't it, about how it got to that stage anyway. But I wonder if that's part of it, and then they kind of like, well, yeah, no, it'll be fine, and we'll just go ahead with the marketing, and they didn't really pay as much attention because we're signing this £70 billion deal sort of thing. So it's easy to do, I suppose. Well, I say easy to do. I don't work for $1 trillion company. I don't.
Yeah. But this is what I would have done.
This is what yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because like the most effective marketing that I've seen recently is those splash things that appear when you turn your Xbox on, and then everyone, like half the people on Twitter, bitch about it because I have to press B to turn it off, or like saying that it's intrusive marketing. It's like, well, that everyone would see that. Everyone would see Hellblade if you put that on a thing, like in the same way that everyone sees the Black Ops thing or this is our game stream or whatever else. That would cost them nothing to do that.
Yep.
Sorry, I was messing around with the stream here. Let's see. All right, we gotta wrap up here. Is there any? I'm trying to think back to our predictions. Is there any predictions that you want to go back to that we had talked about in last week's that was maybe shown, wasn't shown? I know Dragon Age was shown. So we got that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes and haven't even mentioned Dragon Age and how fucking excited I am for that. It's gonna be.
Tell us a bit. Go on. I haven't played any Dragon Age, so I'm like, it looks cool.
Really?
I'm like, I'm not. There's a lot of games on my I should have played these by now list. But
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's in the backlog of shame. You know, Metal Gear Solid collection is in mine. I've never touched
I at
them.
least got the first one. I played through number 1,
Yeah.
and then I didn't do the other 2.
Dragon Age on Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
So,
Dragon Age I played.
One of my favorites, actually. Some people don't like that, but the GameCube version was just hands down so much fun. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, Dragon Age. Tell us
No.
about
Well, what's crazy, I'm telling you, like, we're gonna have to have like a very Dragon Age specific podcast to go on about it. But like, man, that is sorry. You guys go ahead and take it from me.
I will say I'm not a fan of the fact that it's not Dreadwolf. I thought Dreadwolf was a fantastic name. Veilguard.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't know. Veilguard's fine, but Dreadwolf is better.
Well, I see what they're doing. They're trying to go for like, hey, we are focusing on your characters, right? So, you know, again, I want to do a whole entire video essay focused around it and talking about BioWare Magic. Do you guys ever have an article or a video that you've watched or read years and years ago and it just sticks with you and you just think back to that? And like, because for me, one of those things is reading an article about BioWare Magic was like a curse. Like, this was years ago where it was around where, you know, there was a conversation surrounding Anthem and how it didn't succeed and yada, yada, yada. And there was this thing where they were talking about how it was so toxic, the work environment surrounding the game, because they kept talking about, we need to get that BioWare Magic in the game and BioWare Magic this and BioWare Magic that. And nobody really had a clear definition on what it was. And I would love to do a video essay on what I think BioWare Magic is. And I think that's kind of the point of Dragon Age Veilguard, is that they're trying to show you like, hey, we know what a BioWare game is made of. It's about your relationship with these characters. And like 2021 was such a difficult year for me. And I look back to that year and think about how awesome it was that I had the Mass Effect collection like remastered to play through that year, and how I like literally like went through this withdrawal of like those characters not being in my daily routine anymore. I'm like, man, I genuinely miss these fake people. Like, I've grown an attachment to each individual person, and I think that's what people love about games like Baldur's Gate, and Dragon Age was one of those games. I don't think people hold Dragon Age as high of a standard to Mass Effect, because Mass Effect was this continual story where each game your saves transferred, and you can do that same thing in Dragon Age, but it's surrounding different protagonists. Because I know for me, like, I was constantly being like, where's the Grey Warden? The Grey Warden was the protagonist of the first game. So like every time a new game started, it was like, come on, bring the Grey Warden into this, right? And he kind of somewhat made an appearance in Inquisition, but not really. But Dragon Age Origins is very, I keep telling people like, hey, if you really like Baldur's Gate 3, go play Origins. You're going to love Origins. And Dragon, but the gameplay is very different. Like, everybody is complaining about the fact that, oh, well, it's not turn-based, and it's like, it was never really fully turn-based to begin with. Like, it wasn't.
Do we know it's not turn-based though? Like, do we 100% know that it's not?
In my opinion, like, I watched the gameplay of it, right? And it's the way the game used to be was like, you're a little bit overhead, you point, you click, you start attacking. Now the first game, you press A, you're attacking that person. You can literally put the controller down. And then, or you can pull up a menu and have this person attack that person, have this person use that ability. But it was not to the level of Baldur's Gate 3, where it's like, all right, it is this character's turn. Do all the things you're going to do, and then we're moving on to the next person, including each individual enemy. Dragon Age was not like that at all. It was still very much kind of real time, and then you could pull up that wheel to get to your abilities and kind of like freeze time a little bit. You still have that in this game, which is what confuses me. I really hope Lady V is listening to this and saying preach. But like, you still have that wheel where you're in a more refined, from what I saw of the gameplay on Tuesday, you're in a way more refined combat, way more interactive combat, and you're still having that ability to freeze time, use your wheel, use this ability, this person over there, use that ability to freeze this guy so that I can use this ability and make him explode and cause like a chained explosion effect. You know what I mean? You are still thinking tactically. So I'm really confused as to why people are so annoyed that it's so much different, because all I saw from my perspective was improvement. That's all I saw.
Yeah, the combat looks super fluid. It looks great.
It looks absolutely gorgeous.
I haven't played Dragon Age in a long time. I've played them all.
Yeah.
But when they came out, and I really haven't touched them since, I would probably like to go back. I know that one of them has some DLC that I haven't done, so might be a good chance to get that. But yeah, I just, like you said, I just thought it looks like an improvement. I don't want the same exact carbon copy of a game.
No, absolutely not.
We want improvements. We want a little bit of a change.
Look at what the God of War remake did. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how I'm choosing to look at this Dragon Age thing. I'm like, they are refining this for the better, and in my opinion. But none of us are really going to see the fruits of their labor until the game's actually out. But you talk about DLC. I think if I'm going to sit here and tell someone like you, Adam, where you haven't played any of these games, maybe from the sounds of it, you probably just need to play Inquisition and definitely get the Game of the Year edition and play that DLC, because that is one game that somewhat annoyed me how important the DLC was. Like, you kind of understand, like, okay, here's, oh shoot, his name is slipping. The guy who's the villain in this next game. You understand by the end of the base game, he's going to be the villain. He's gone bad, yada, yada, yada. And I think Inquisition is going to kind of give you all the information you need to know going into this next one. But it sounds like none of that stuff transfers. From my understanding, correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, it sounds like they don't have the traditional transfer all of your save data because, well, it's old save data, different hardware to make it, yada, yada, yada. They show you like a little recap video essentially and kind of give you this quick rundown of here were the options, what would you have chosen, basically, kind of like, how about you go back and re-choose all those things. And I remember going into Inquisition, and that was an option then too. Like, if you didn't have save data, they were like, hey, go to our website, type this in. It was a lot more of a thing, but I think this is going to be built into the game where it's like, here, you choose what the Inquisitor would have done in Dragon Age Inquisition. That's going to affect the world going into this. So I do wonder if the Inquisitor is going to show up into the next Dragon Age game. But the DLC for Inquisition was so good. And very imperative, in my opinion, to the story. People, I'm not going to give any spoilers. Just, I highly recommend that game. Dragon Age Origins, while it shows its age a lot, while Dragon Age Origins shows its age a lot, it's still a fun story. Even if you go to YouTube and just watch somebody play through it or give a recap, it's going to be a good time. It always makes me think of Lord of the Rings. You got like this story, like very dark intro to a game, and then it goes into you got these 3 regions and you must collect the forces to fight against the greater evil, and all these 3 factions don't get along with each other and you need to make peace, or maybe you don't make peace and it's just you up against the ultimate dark dragon. Like, it's a classic. So good. But I'm going to shut up about Dragon Age now, because we actually do got to wrap up.
I'm a specialist subject.
Yes. Oh, man. You told me to get to start talking about Dragon Age. I'm not going to stop, man. But do you guys have any closing thoughts?
I'm just excited for some fun games coming up.
Same.
It's just like we're very lucky. There's a whole bunch of things, big and small, that are coming that I'm super excited about, and I just can't wait. I just need to find the time. That's it.
And what about you, Adam?
Yeah, it's similar. It's great to chat with you guys about the fun things and what we've seen and what we love and what we enjoy, and yeah, just looking forward to. I think it's great that we're all interested in different things as well. Like, I'm really looking forward to X, Y, or Z, and we'll get to talk about why we like it to each other. You get to tell us about Dragon Age, Nathan, and I'll talk about how I'm going to play it and what have you. So Fraser will tell us about Assassin's Creed, and it'll be yeah, it's gonna be great. And it's just so many. It's just so great that there's so much choice, isn't there? But I think reflecting on the conversation, I just go back to I think there probably needs to be a rethink about how we present all of these things, because I always like what I like about this Gamer Social Club is that we really champion indies and the different we try and make connection with those developers and stuff like that. The Hypercharge thing recently, it's like if they haven't got the platform or the space or the kind of whatever, because they just want to make the game or whatever. Not everyone's got the skills to market the game as well. You really want to do it. So I think we just need to think of how do we get that out there, and group and sites like us, I suppose we can do that as well. Use the gift that we've got and shine that spotlight on it.
Dano does such a great job at reaching out to all these different people, and it was just funny because Addy was so on top of everything with all the roundups and announcements. And seriously, if you missed a lot, I highly recommend going to Gamer Social Club and looking at his articles, because he did such a good job at rounding everything up. My favorite thing about looking at these articles, it's funny because I'm finally talking about it and I took it away from the screen, but you got YouTube attachments to every single trailer of everything, and I'm not kidding. I was like, I couldn't think of another website that I could go to where everything was going to be laid out so clearly. So okay, here's this video. You can play it from right here. So easily accessible for this presentation that I was going to do, but we didn't. And I'm honestly glad the conversation went the way that it did. But yeah, Dano was like, now that all the roundups are done, he's like, now I got to do 40,000 emails and, get a hold of all these people. But I am right there with both of you guys. Adam, I'm right there with you. And I cannot wait for us to be right back here in the same spot talking about Adamfall together. And that's gonna be so cool. I love the fact that you're in the UK and have this more attachment to it because of that. I can't wait to
review it because I want to put my subtitle as Adamfall.
Oh
obviously.
My gosh, yes! You can change your name on everything for a little while, just for a month.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Adamfall. That's great. And then it's Fraser. I agree with you, because something that's been at the forefront of my mind through all of this showcases is the fact that I'm I love this season because it kind of gives me a glimpse of how am I going to be spending my time over the next year. And up until this point, I have felt like 2024 is a complete blank slate to me. Maybe I just kind of went brain dead and wasn't thinking about certain titles, but all I could think in my head was Space Marine. And then I was then Assassin's Creed got announced. I'm okay, well, there's Assassin's Creed and then Star Wars. So I had 3 games in total that I was really interested in playing in this year. And after this, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have the time. Like,
No,
there's no time to
you have
play.
to make some difficult choices.
Seriously, like, and my gosh, the games from last year are still suffering over here on my backlog.
Mm-hmm.
Get games from decades ago that I haven't played.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it sucks. I still really okay. I I was about to start getting into backlog discussion, but we really got to wrap up because we got to be at the next podcast in 5 minutes. So, if you enjoyed this
busy boys.
conversation, what's that?
A bunch of busy boys, aren't
Oh
we?
my gosh, I know, right? If you enjoyed this conversation and as much as I did, then you're definitely going to want to go over to Inside Podcast and hopefully check out to see if it's uploaded yet. Like I said, I don't know upload times yet. I probably should have clarified that before we recorded. But we will continue this conversation over there. Thank you guys so much for your support, tuning in, and please do not forget to do the whole entire, 5 stars, feedback, yada, yada, yada. I gave the whole spiel at the beginning, so I wouldn't have to do it here. So, thank you guys so much. You guys have a great day.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Catch you later.
See you later.